Hi, I'm at the British Country Music Festival with Kate Ellis. How are you doing?
Very well, thank you.
Good. How long have you been writing and performing as a...
Well, I've been writing songs for quite a while, but our first album came out about a couple of years ago. So sort of ramping it up about maybe 5 years ago or so, doing it properly. I started writing younger and then came to England to marry my husband, Andy, and then had a couple of kids, and that tends to sort of put everything on the back burner for a little while. So,
What inspires your songs then? What?
Well, I think for me, songwriting is a way of sort of communicating to myself and sort of processing things as well, and exploring ideas. But it's really just when something sort of touches me in a certain way, the music kind of comes in from there, and it's very connected to that. And so that's...
Just as, because I mean, speaking from the outside, observing, because I sort of wrote songs in a spectacularly unsuccessful band before, and
we write a lot together.
I think what's interesting about the way Kate writes, from my point of view, is it's very, very emotional. Like it's all straight from the heart in a way that I think is kind of interesting. I don't see that much. Like it literally is a sort of a channeling, and when it works well, it's quite powerful, and people get touched by it and moved by it, and that, you know, that's I think what's different maybe about your approach to it than some of the music I hear. Maybe everybody would claim that.
And Andy's a wonderful songwriter, and often he brings a kind of crafting ability that I don't necessarily have, and so makes the song a lot better. And you know.
If you could choose a well-known song then, and make it your own style of song, which one would you pick?
Well, yeah, probably "Hurt," which actually I played earlier today. Absolutely. So written by Nine Inch Nails. Trent Reznor, I just forget his name. But to me, it's a sort of Johnny Cash song, because you know, he kind of interpreted it in such a way that just was incredible. And so I love that song, and the three of us, play it together, and Joseph Paxson, who's a fiddle player, came up with this beautiful violin part, and it just sort of just reimagined the song, and I loved, you know.
If you could perform anywhere in the world, any venue, where would you pick?
Any venue in the world, goodness. Well, I have a sort of soft spot for. I'm taking your question in a little bit of a sort of imaginative way,
right,
because I have a soft spot for the Louisiana Hayride in Shreveport. And I don't think it exists anymore, but it was, you know, this incredible venue that brought loads of artists, Elvis and Hank Williams, and my dad grew up in Shreveport, and so he actually took guitar lessons with Hank Williams' bass player, and so he actually one night was allowed to play with Hank Williams on the stage, and so just for me that would be just amazing if I could go back in time and be on that stage.
What excites you the most about the British country scene?
I think just that it's growing so fast. There's just so much new interest and love of the genre, and it really, to be honest, sort of surprised me, because I've been doing this kind of country Americana stuff. I would call myself more maybe, but for a while, and always felt, oh dear, you know, I'm in the wrong country. But now I feel like, maybe not, because there's just so much interest. So.
Where do you see it in 5 years' time then?
I see it really growing. I you know, possibly doubling at the rate it's going. I feel like it's going to become just a bigger presence in the scene. I mean, I don't think it's going to become mainstream in the UK ever, but yeah, I think it's going to become a lot of a bigger genre here. Yeah.
What about yourself then? Where do you see yourself in 5 years' time?
Well, I'm hopefully I'm working on my second album now. I'm going to try to get into the studio, you know, probably early next year. So I hope I will be working on my third, probably. I'm fairly slow
At
in
this rate,
progress
yeah,
of this. But you know, carrying on singing, and I love singing and
It's
songwriting.
the
So
Kate Bush sequence cycle of albums rather
Yes.
than the one a year.
keep them waiting for longer this way.
What's the most unusual gig you've played?
The most unusual gig. What would you say, Andy?
Oh God, I certainly remember playing strange gigs on boats and
Yeah.
in
Andy's previous life in the
I once played
rock
a gig
band.
in the Natural History Museum, which is pretty weird,
Oh yeah.
with lots of dry ice. It wasn't very good, but
Well, I think the most unusual gig, not for venue, but because I sort of lost my voice.
oh yeah, that's right.
And so I literally had to tune down all my songs
Yeah.
about 3 tones.
Yeah.
And I was basically singing like Johnny Cash, you know, my songs.
It was quite. We were
It was a completely surreal experience.
backstage working out which ones we could play and like tuning them down, and trying to figure out the
So
chord
that was,
formations.
you know, it was good to know I could do that, you know, when I needed to. I probably wouldn't repeat it.
What do you like to do in your spare time then when you're not singing?
Well, I've got 2 kids, so I like, you know, and need to, but I do enjoy hanging out with them a lot. And I love reading, and I love listening to music, actually.
If you could invite 5 people to a dinner party, like musical heroes or just musical people in general, who would you pick?
Oh, goodness. Okay, Bob Dylan is at the top of the list. Leonard Cohen. Maybe Emmylou Harris.
I don't know.
Who else?
Me and Joe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you, Joe.
Yeah. We're there.
Where can we find you on social media?
Most of the tags is Kate Ellis Music. And I've got a website, kateellis.com.
You gonna do a song for us now?
We are, yes.
Yep, I'll get it.
It's one of the new ones, so it's cool, yeah.
I'll get out your way while you get ready.
Great.
I don't know what you've been told. Every time I ask, you always turn to go. Why you standing in the cold? I don't know what you've been told. I don't know what hurt the most. When you were left alone or held far too close. And now you hide all I need to know. Don't let it weigh you down. There's nothing to be found in the story you've been told.
Thank you.